Okay, the WH and the W sounds. I just want to give a little bit of background here. So on a sound wall here, if you look at the UFly one, it has it as a glide, and it has two different cards here, the WH and the W, with the W being voiced and the WH being unvoiced. That is, you can say two different sounds. You can say woo with a voice sound and with an unvoiced sound. And it historically, the WH was an unvoiced sound. Most of America does not pronounce the WH in an unvoiced manner. So for most of us, we don't use this sound. We don't use the sound. So you can just think of it as we don't use it. It can be said that way, but basically we don't use it. So let me give you a little bit of history of that WH position. When it was first used in English, it was written as HW, and it was pronounced ho, ho, with a very strong H sound at the beginning before the W. What, when, where, and all of that. And it was the H was very much pronounced. But we had all these other digraphs. We had this PH, and we had this TH, and this SH, and this CH, and we even had a RH. They're like, hey, come on, guys. Why do we have this HW when everything else has the H after? And if you think of it as all those other digraphs, the H was kind of like a diacritical mark, like some languages put an accent aigu or whatever to indicate a slightly different sound, or the enye and those other things. The H had been that kind of mark in the history of our language, or the history of what became our language. And when we took in these spellings for these sounds, because like the TH was spelled with these other Old English symbols that the Latin alphabet didn't have. So it's like, okay, let's use this TH, and they were already using the PH and these others. So the convention of having the H with this other letter to represent a sound was already in place, and now we've got this ho sound for what, when, and they're like, well, let's be consistent, guys. And so it was then changed in spelling to be an WH. Now, over time, the H component of it stripped away from most words, and we don't say what and when and where anymore. We just say what, when, where. Except if you'll notice, when we have words that where the next letter is a O, the W component got stripped away because, let me show you. When we say who, we start from the h to the woo, which is a rounded, to oo, and woo and oo are very close to each other, just the woo is slightly more constricted. It's easier to just go from the h to the oo. So we go who, or whom, or whole. So we don't go from the h position to a slightly more constricted woo, and then open up just the teeny tiniest bit to get to the oo or the o sound or whatever. So we go right from the h to the rounded vowel. But when we had the woo sound and then a different letter, it didn't happen. So when we had when, we kept the when and dropped the h. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me go back where you can see. So here I've just dropped in a bunch of the most common words that are spelled with the WH. And you're just like, okay, how do I remember to use the WH versus the W? And I like to find categories. So I see them as question words and what I've noticed to be sounds or onomatopoeias. So what, that's a question word. When, question word. Whom, a question word, but with the having become silent. So it's the whip. Well, that was a sound, wasn't it? Wheel. Whisper, it's a sound. Whistle. Whole, it's that WHO where the O instigated the W is now silent. Where, it's a question word. Which one? Whether or not. Why? Whiz. I don't know about that one. Whisker, I'm not too sure about this one. While you were doing this, not really a question, but you can see how it fits in the same category of words. Whoa, that's a sound. Wait, that one, it's not a question word and it's not a sound. Whale, I'm going to put it in not a question word or a sound, but, you know, whet, to whet your appetite. And that, you know, the whet, the wheel that they would use to grind things, and it had a whirring sound, and then whir and whirl, these were like sounds, and whew, that's a sound. So a lot of these are sounds, and then we had a lot of question words, and then we have the ones, the whole, that's not a question word, but it's one where the another one where the W has become silent. And then we have these few words that are neither a question nor a sound, but they came into our language this way. So we have wheel, whisker, whiz, and white, and whale. And maybe you might think of whiz as a sound, so we can put that here. So we do have a few common words with a WH that I don't see a pattern for. It's just the way it came in, and it was pronounced with the whoo at the beginning. That H component has been dropped, and we still have the woo. So by and large, the WH sounds exactly like a W, and they're both voiced and continuous in America. Now, there are parts in other places of the world where they still pronounce the whoo component of the WH, but we don't much at all. And if you're trying to remember the spelling of it, I would say, okay, the question words have a WH. Sound words or onomatopoeia, the ones that started out as a sound, whisper and whistle and these, and then these few. And so I would then make a picture of a white whale on a wheel with large whiskers to help my kids remember that these all had the WH, even though they weren't really the question or the onomatopoeia. Okay, I hope that helps. Thank you for watching, and I hope that was helpful. If you need any further help, please visit me at emilylaidlawtutor.com or on my YouTube channel, Emily Laidlaw. Thank you.